There are places on this planet where time doesn't move forward. It lingers. Villages abandoned, cities lost to the jungle, and entire civilizations erased, leaving behind only whispers carved in stone. These are not the places you'll find in glossy travel brochures or guided tours. They are forgotten worlds, hidden in deserts, jungles, and mountains, where ancient lives once thrived, but where silence now reigns. What happened to them? Why were they abandoned? And how have they survived the slow erosion of centuries, waiting for us to stumble upon their secrets? Today, we journey deep into the lost corners of the earth to uncover the civilizations time tried to bury and the ancient worlds you were never meant to see. From temples swallowed by rainforests to ghost villages frozen in stone, this is where history becomes mystery. Rising like a colossal fortress from the heart of Sri Lanka's jungle, Sigiriya is more than just a rock. From afar, it appears as a towering monolith of stone. But to those who dare climb it, this was once the beating heart of a lost kingdom. Over 1,500 years ago, a rebel king named Kashyapa built his palace upon this very rock, transforming it into an impregnable citadel. Terraces, water gardens, and mirrored walls once glittered here, a jewel of ancient engineering suspended high above the jungle floor. But Sigiriya is more than ruins. Its walls are alive with ancient frescoes, mysterious maidens painted in vibrant colors, their identities lost to time. Were they goddesses, celestial dancers, or guardians of the king's domain? No one truly knows. When Kashyapa fell, so too did his sky palace. The citadel was abandoned, swallowed by the wilderness, its glory fading into legend. For centuries, the jungle kept Sigiriya hidden until it was rediscovered by modern eyes. Today, visitors climb its ancient stairways, passing lion-carved gates and echoing chambers, retracing the steps of a vanished world. From the summit, where once a palace stood, the view stretches endlessly over green forests, a silent reminder of a kingdom lost to time. Sigiriya is not just a ruin. It's a question carved into stone. Why here, and why so high? And like so many lost civilizations, it offers no answers, only mysteries. Hidden in the volcanic mountains of northwest Iran lies a village that looks like it belongs on another planet. Here, homes aren't built on the land. They're carved into it. This is Kandavan, a settlement where human life has merged seamlessly with stone. This is Kandavan, a village sculpted from volcanic rock, where people have been living inside cone-shaped formations for nearly 700 years. Each house blends seamlessly with the earth, as though the mountain itself chose to shelter its inhabitants. From the outside, The village resembles a colony of stone beehives, clustered together, each opening revealing a doorway, a window, or a hidden staircase. Step inside, and you'll find warm interiors still inhabited by families, complete with electricity, kitchens, and flowing water. What makes Kandavan extraordinary is that it is not a museum of the past, but a living, breathing community. Unlike Cappadocia in Turkey, which attracts tourists from around the world, Kandavan has remained quiet, tucked away from global attention. The air carries the weight of centuries, stories of resilience, survival, and the harmony between people and their harsh volcanic environment. Every wall, every carved arch speaks of a civilization that chose to adapt rather than abandon. Here, time itself feels confused. You are standing in the present, yet surrounded by a way of life that belongs to another age. Kandavan is not just an ancient village. It is a window into a world where history has never truly ended. High above the plains of central Greece, sandstone pillars rise like stone giants from the earth. Atop their jagged peaks sit monasteries, suspended between heaven and earth, as though gravity itself forgot them. This is Meteora, a place where the natural and the divine collide. The name itself means suspended in the air, and standing before these towering cliffs, you understand why. For centuries, the monasteries here have defied the impossible, clinging to rocks that stretch hundreds of meters into the sky. Built by monks in the 14th century, Meteora became a refuge from invading armies. The cliffs offered protection, their isolation a shield. For those who climbed them, it wasn't just a matter of survival, it was a journey closer to God. The monks once reached their sanctuaries by ropes, ladders, and baskets hoisted high above the abyss. One mistake meant certain death. Yet for them, this was the price of devotion, a test of faith that bound them to the heavens. Today, 6 monasteries remain active, preserved as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. But when the morning mist curls around the cliffs, hiding them from view, Meteora still feels like a secret world, a forgotten kingdom floating between time and eternity. Hidden deep within the mountains of Hunan province lies Fangg Wang, an ancient town that seems untouched by time. Its name means phoenix, and legend says it was born from the ashes of a mythical bird. Stepping into Fangg Wang feels like stepping into another era. Wooden stilt houses line the river, their reflections shimmering across the water as red lanterns sway in the evening breeze. For over 300 years, this town has preserved its Ming and Qing dynasty architecture with cobbled streets, arched stone bridges, and winding alleys that whisper stories of merchants, scholars, and poets who once passed through. The river is the lifeblood of Fangg Wang. Boats still drift along its calm surface, guided by oarsmen who wear the same wide-brimmed hats their ancestors did. The air carries the scent of incense mixed with the sound of temple bells. Yet Fangg Wang is more than just a preserved relic. It is still alive, still breathing. Local artisans carve silver jewelry, storytellers perform age-old ballads, and the town pulses with traditions that outsiders rarely witness. By nightfall, the town transforms. The water glows with lantern light, casting an almost dreamlike reflection. It feels like a place suspended between worlds, the living and the lost, the modern and the ancient. Hidden behind desert canyons, Petra feels less like a city and more like a secret whispered by the earth itself. For centuries, travelers walked right past its entrance, unaware that one of the world's most extraordinary civilizations lay just beyond these walls. Founded by the Nabateans over 2,000 years ago, Petra wasn't built on the land, it was carved into it. Every temple, tomb and hall was sculpted from solid rock, turning cliffs into cathedrals and mountains into monuments. The treasury, Petra's most famous structure, looms with haunting perfection. Its columns and statues are frozen in stone, untouched by time, as though the city itself was waiting to be discovered. And yet, for centuries, it was forgotten. By the Middle Ages, Petra had vanished from maps. Nomads guarded its secret, and whispers of a lost city of stone drifted through legends. It wasn't until 1812 that a Swiss explorer, disguised as a pilgrim, revealed Petra to the outside world again. But Petra was more than beauty, it was power. The Nabateans controlled trade routes across the desert, turning this hidden city into a crossroads of cultures, wealth, and knowledge. Spices, silk, and secrets once flowed through these canyons. Today, Petra is often called the Rose-Red City, half as old as time. Yet when you stand among its silent temples, the question lingers. Why did a civilization capable of carving empires into stone fade into the desert winds? Hidden deep in the jungles of Cambodia lies the forgotten city of Angkor Thom, once the beating heart of the mighty Khmer Empire. Its stone walls and towering gates whisper of a time when this was the largest city in the world, a place of unimaginable power and splendor. Built in the late 12th century by King Jayavarman VII, Angkor Thom was more than a city. It was a vision of eternity carved in stone. At its center stood the Bayon Temple, where 200 massive stone faces gaze outward in every direction, as if watching over both the living and the dead. Unlike Angkor Wat, its more famous neighbor, Angkor Thom feels less like a temple and more like a kingdom frozen in time. Here, wide boulevards stretch through overgrown ruins, and colossal statues guard the causeways, their silent expressions eroded by centuries of wind and rain. But what makes Angkor Thom truly haunting is the way nature has reclaimed it. Massive trees rise from the stone, their roots crawling over the walls like ancient veins. The city seems less abandoned and more asleep, as if it could awaken at any moment. For centuries, Angkor Thom was lost to the world, swallowed by the jungle, until French explorers stumbled upon it in the 19th century. Even today, it feels as though you've stepped into another realm, a forgotten civilization where gods, kings, and myths still walk among the ruins. High in the Andes Mountains of Peru, a lost city floats among the clouds. It's a place where time seems to stop. Stone terraces, clinging to impossible cliffs, stairways that rise toward the sky, and the silent remains of a civilization that once ruled the land. This is Machu Picchu, the legendary citadel of the Inca Empire. Built in the 15th century and abandoned less than 100 years later, it remained hidden for centuries, untouched, unseen, almost forgotten. Archaeologists still debate its true purpose. Was it a royal retreat for the Inca emperor? A sacred religious site devoted to the sun? Or a fortress protecting secrets we may never fully understand? The engineering here is nothing short of miraculous. Each stone carved with precision, fitting so tightly together that even a blade of grass cannot slip through, and all of it built without modern tools. In a world of sheer cliffs, unpredictable rains, and thin mountain air. For generations, Machu Picchu lived only in whispers. The outside world had no knowledge of its existence until 1911, when explorer Hiram Bingham stumbled upon its ruins, guided by local villagers who had always known it was there. Machu Picchu is more than just an ancient ruin. It is a bridge, connecting us to a civilization that may be gone, but is never truly lost. In the vast emptiness of the Syrian desert, an ancient city, once known as the Bride of the Desert, rises from the sands, Palmyra. For centuries, this lost world stood as a gateway between East and West, where caravans carried silk, spices, and stories across the great trade routes of history. From afar, the ruins appear almost like a mirage, stone columns stretching into the sky, weathered arches that frame the horizon, and temples built to honor gods long forgotten. It feels as though the desert itself has been guarding this place, keeping its secrets buried beneath the sands. At its height, Palmyra was a jewel of the Roman Empire, a city so wealthy and powerful that it rivaled even Rome itself. Its people built vast colonnades, theaters, and temples unlike any seen before, blending Greco-Roman design with Persian and Middle Eastern influences. But Palmyra is more than stone. It is the memory of a queen. Zenobia, the warrior queen of the 3rd century, once ruled here. She defied Rome, expanded her empire, and carved her name into the chronicles of history. Even today, whispers of her ambition seem to echo across these ruins. Walking through Palmyra is like stepping into a dream suspended between worlds, part Roman, part Persian, part Arabian. Yet time, war, and the desert winds have left it scarred, a shadow of the civilization it once was. On a hilltop in southern Italy, where the wind whistles through broken windows and narrow streets lie silent, stands Kocco, a ghost town frozen in time. Once a thriving medieval village, it now lingers like a shadow of the past, gazing down at the valleys of Basilicata. Founded in the 8th century, Kocco was once a stronghold of nobles, priests, and farmers. Its stone houses clung to the steep hillside, stacked one upon another, with the castle tower rising above like a sentinel. Life here was simple, yet deeply rooted in centuries of tradition. But nature had other plans. Earthquakes, landslides, and flooding slowly destabilized the town. By the 1960s, homes began to crumble, forcing residents to abandon their ancestral land. Families packed their belongings and moved to safer ground, leaving behind a hollow village. What remains today feels eerily intact, as if the inhabitants left only yesterday. Narrow alleys still wind through deserted houses. The church bells no longer ring, but the towers still rise proudly against the horizon. Kocco stands as both a ruin and a memory, caught between life and death. Because of its haunting beauty, Kocco has been immortalized in films, from The Passion of the Christ to Quantum of Solace. Yet outside of cinema, it remains strangely forgotten, overlooked by travelers who pass through southern Italy. Kocco is not just an abandoned village. It is a story of resilience and fragility. A place where time stopped, but whispers of the past linger in the stones. One of the world's most beautiful ghost towns, waiting silently for those who dare to wander through its empty streets. In the heart of northeastern Spain lies Belche, a village frozen in time. Walking its silent streets feels like stepping into a ghostly painting, where cracked walls and broken arches whisper of lives that once flourished here. Belche wasn't abandoned for centuries. It was thriving less than 100 years ago. But during the Spanish Civil War, the village became the site of a brutal battle in 1937. Its people were forced to leave, and the once busy town was reduced to rubble. Unlike other war-torn places that rebuilt and moved on, Belche was deliberately left as it stood, a haunting monument, a village-sized memory of destruction, preserved for all who dare to wander through its hollow ruins. Today, only a handful of people live nearby, in the new Belche, built just beside the old. The original town remains eerily silent, its twisted metal doors and crumbling churches still standing against the wind. Walking here at dusk, you can almost hear the echoes, footsteps in the dust, whispered prayers in the church, voices that never left. Belche is not just forgotten history, it is history that refuses to be erased. Hidden in the hills of southwestern Turkey lies Kayakoy, a forgotten village with a haunting past. Once home to thousands of people, today it stands eerily silent, its stone homes abandoned, its churches hollow shells. In the early 20th century, this thriving community was known as Livisi, a place where Greek Christians lived for centuries alongside their Turkish neighbors. The village echoed with markets, prayers, and laughter of children. But history shifted. Following the Greco-Turkish War, a forced population exchange in 1923 saw the Greeks of Kayakoy uprooted and sent to Greece, while Muslims from Greece were resettled here. Yet most never stayed. The village fell into abandonment. Now, nearly 500 crumbling houses sprawl across the hillside, empty frames that nature has slowly reclaimed. Churches with fading frescoes still stand, their arches reaching for a sky that has long forgotten the prayers beneath them. Walking through Kayakoy today feels like wandering through a time capsule. Streets lined with silence, windows framing nothing but the wind. Yet there's beauty in its decay. Tourists who stumble upon it often describe it as a place frozen between memory and myth. Kayakoy is not entirely lifeless. Artists, historians, and travelers arrive, seeking inspiration among its ruins. Some villagers still live nearby, keeping watch over this ghostly inheritance. And in 2014, UNESCO recognized it as a World Friendship and Peace Village, a reminder of lives displaced by war. Perched on a rocky cliff, shaped like a giant hand, the village of Pentadatilo has long been shrouded in mystery. Once a thriving Greek colony, it now sits abandoned, a silent witness to centuries of change. Founded in the 7th century BC, this cliffside village flourished under Roman and Byzantine rule. Its strategic perch made it nearly untouchable, but time, earthquakes, and tragedy slowly drove its people away. Legends still whisper of the massacre of the Alberti family in the 17th century, a bloody feud that sealed Pentadatilo's reputation as a cursed place. For centuries after, few dared to live here. By the mid-20th century, the last residents had left. Today, Pentadatilo remains a ghost village, part open-air museum, part stage for summer festivals. But when night falls, the winds that whistle through its empty homes remind us that the past is never truly gone. village carved into stone, abandoned by time, yet still reaching out with its ancient hand, waiting for someone to listen. From the jungles of Sri Lanka to the cliffs of Italy, these places remind us of something powerful. That time does not stop for anyone, not even entire civilizations. Whole cities, once alive with laughter, music, and dreams, have now been silenced, yet they remain, frozen in time, whispering their stories to anyone who dares to listen. And perhaps the greatest lesson of these forgotten worlds is that what we leave behind says more about us than what we build. If these hidden worlds left you speechless, imagine how many more are still out there, waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe so you don't miss the next journey into Earth's most mysterious corners. And share this video with someone who still believes adventure only lies on maps. Because sometimes the greatest discoveries are the ones time tried to erase.